Hello, viewers. I'm Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal. Today stands before you with a very important topic of international relations, that is the end of Cold War and its impacts. Today's video mainly gives focus to end of Cold War and its impacts on the world. And I have full confidence that this video will be useful for students of all levels, because this video gives a clear picture about a reference to meaning of Cold War, end of Cold War and its impacts. I request my viewers that for their benefit they should subscribe my channel so that useful videos of mine will be in your hands. So let us viewers will start about the end of Cold War and its impacts. In international politics, as well as international relations, Cold War is a burning topic. The word Cold War was used for the first time by Bernard Baruch, who in South Carolina legislature uttered this word on 16th April 1947. So the word Cold War was used for the first time by Bernard Baruch, but the word Cold War was popularized by Walter Lippmann. Cold War means a situation of neither war nor peace. And in international politics, Cold War means after 1945 to 1991, there was a tension, suspiciousness, as well as doubt between America in one hand and USSR on the other hand. The tensions between USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, and USA, United States of America, there was a tension between these two nations, and this tension started after Second World War till 1991, till the dissolution of Soviet Union. So the tension between America and Soviet Russia started after 1945 and it ended in 1991 when Soviet Union was fragmented into 15 pieces. When Soviet Russia fragmented into 15 republics and all republics declared their independence, there was no such country like Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, and Soviet Union of Soviet Socialist Republic was dissolved, and that was the end of Cold War. But when Soviet Russia was dissolved, at the time the Cold War ended, and after the end of Cold War, what were the situations in the world? And in this video we have discussed 10 important impacts on the world after Cold War. The first impact of the end of Cold War was that world became an unipolar world. It means during Cold War from 1945 to 1991, world was bipolar world. It means in the world some nations were under American group and some nations were under Soviet Union group. So two nations were powerful. USA in one hand and USSR on the other hand. But after the end of Cold War, or after the dissolution of Soviet Russia, only American remained as a powerful country. And there was no such country which was able to give challenge to America. There are two powerful countries like Japan and Germany, but they were not able to give challenge to America. So after the end of Cold War, in the world, there was only one powerful country which was powerful in every respect. It was USA. So the world has become unipolar world. So during the Cold War, the world was bipolar world. Two nations were powerful, USA and USSR. But after Cold War, or after the dissolution of the Cold War, world was left only with one powerful country, America. So world has become an unipolar world. This is the first impact of the end of Cold War. Okay, viewers. Now we come to the second important impact of end of Cold War. That was unification of Germany. During the Cold War, Germany was divided into two parts. Its eastern part was under USSR, its western part was under America. But after the end of Cold War, the eastern part, which was known as GDR, German Democratic Republic, and western part, which was known as FRG, Federal Republic of Germany, they merged into one country. And the Berlin Wall, which was dividing GDR, eastern part of Germany, FRG, western part of Germany, became one by the demolition of Berlin Wall on 3rd October 1990. So second important impact of end of Cold War, there was unification of Germany. Eastern part of Germany and western part of Germany merged into one country, and Germany became one country. It was the second important impact of the end of Cold War. The third impact of the end of Cold War, democratic elections in all satellite states of Russia. During the Cold War, Russia had 7 satellite states like Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Hungary, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia. These were all the satellite states during the Cold War. And in all these states, there were communism. But after the end of Cold War, in all these satellite states, democratic elections were held, democratic principles were prevailed. So all these satellite states of USSR were converted into democratic countries. This was the third important impact of the end of Cold War. The fourth one is democracy became world over and communism is observed in 5 nations: in China, Cuba, Laos, Vietnam and North Korea. During Cold War, in many countries there were communism. But after the end of Cold War, almost in all over the world, democratic principles were started to prevail. Only 5 countries remained as communist countries like China, Cuba, Laos, Vietnam and North Korea. Except these 5 countries, almost in all countries, democracy started to prevail. Then the fifth important impact of end of Cold War was the focus on world changed from arms race to environmental problems and humanitarian issues. During the Cold War, all nations were engaged in arms race. For their security, they were busy in producing more and more lethal weapons. But after the end of Cold War, the cloud of wars were no more found. The probability of wars were no more found. So the attention of all nations started to focus towards humanitarian issues, environmental problems. It means during Cold War, all the nations were busy in the arms race. They were focusing to produce more arms. But after the end of Cold War, all the nations diverted their attention from arms race to humanitarian issues and environmental issues which the world is confronting. This is the fifth important impact of end of Cold War. The sixth one is, which is very important, cut down in defense expenditure by US and USSR. So when there was Cold War, both USA and USSR were busy in investing more money for production of arms and ammunition. But after the end of Cold War, both America and Russia, not Soviet Union, Russia, started to decrease their expenditure in armaments. And in 1990, George Bush of America declared to cut down defense expenditure by 50 million and to stop production of B-2 stealth bombers after producing 20 such aircrafts. It means after end of Cold War, American President George Bush declared to decrease armaments expenditure by 50 millions, and he declared that after producing 20 B-2 stealth bombers, America will stop its production. Then the seventh important impact of Cold War, the seventh impact of end of Cold War was declaration of USA independence to all republics of USSR and declare embassy of Moscow as embassy of Russia. After the end of Cold War, America declared all the republics of USSR, 15 republics, as independent nations. After the end of Cold War, America declared and recognized all the 15 republics of USSR as independent nations, and it declared the embassy of America in Moscow as the embassy of Russia. Primarily, the embassy of America in Moscow was known as American Embassy in USSR. But after the end of Cold War, America declared that henceforward its embassy in Moscow will be declared as the Embassy of America for Russia. Then the eighth important impact of the end of Cold War was principles of capitalism like open market, free competition, liberalization, private ownership became popular. After the end of Cold War, democracy and capitalism became popular. So the principles of democracy and capitalism started to prevail in most part of the world. These principles were open market. In place of command market, there will be open market. In open market, there will be competition among undertakings and prices will be fixed automatically, and there will be liberalization. Private enterprises will be allowed to exist, and there will be private ownership of means of production. Capitalists can establish their own factories on the basis of their wish. So all these principles started to prevail. The ninth important impact of the end of Cold War was the declaration of end of Warsaw Pact. After the end of Cold War, during the Cold War, there was a Warsaw Pact. USSR signed Warsaw Pact on 14th May 1955. Warsaw Pact was signed by USSR on 14th May 1955 with 7 nations and with its headquarters in Warsaw, capital of Poland. But after the end of Cold War, Warsaw Pact was declared as dissolved by the president of Czechoslovakia, who was the president of Czechoslovakia, Václav Havel. Václav Havel. V-A-C-L-A-V, Václav Havel. So, Warsaw Pact came to an end. Finally, the 10th important impact of end of Cold War was that 5 central Asian provinces of USSR, which were Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, they accepted Islam as a national religion and they joined with an organization known as Economic Cooperation Organization, where there were 10 members. All the nations were Islamic nations. So, along with these 5 nations, Iran, Turkey, Pakistan, Azerbaijan and Afghanistan were also members. So, the last impact of end of Cold War was that all the 5 Central Asian provinces of USSR, they declared to adopt Islam as a national religion and they joined in a Islamic organization known as ECO, Economic Cooperation Organization, which was formed in 1985. So, in this video we have discussed who was the first man who uttered the word Cold War, Bernard Baruch. Then the word Cold War was popularized by Walter Lippmann. We have discussed what is Cold War. It is situation of neither peace nor war. And we have discussed that the Cold War started from 1945 to 1991. And Cold War was ended with the dissolution of Soviet Russia into 15 pieces. And we have discussed after dissolution of Soviet Russia, what were the 10 important impacts. Okay viewers, I have full confidence that this video will be very much useful. This video gives very important tips relating to international affairs, mainly relating to Cold War and issues after Cold War. I request my viewers to give your comment in the comment box, subscribe my channel so that the benefit will be of yours. Important videos will be in your hand. Thank you viewers. Again we will be here with another video. Till now, goodbye to all.